everyone, here's my tutorial for the Remembrance Day nails. I've decided to do this in two parts just in case you want to see the set without the added details. So to start off with, as usual, we need to prep our nails, so we're pushing back all the cuticles. I don't know why, but I always find this bit really satisfying, seeing all the dead sort of tissue and that come off the nail and it all look nice and fresh again. And we're scraping everything out, make sure there's nothing there that would interfere with our nail extensions. I always like to spray my hands with sanitizer after I've cleared up the cuticles and before I put my tips on. So now I'm sizing them up. If they're not meeting sidewall to sidewall, what I do is I just file a little bit off, but I always try and make sure I do the same amount of filing on both sides of the tip so that I can keep it even. And then we'll just hold that down until it's glued. So on some of this, what I've done is I've left the speed as normal for the first nail and then sped up the rest, because it's kind of the same idea for each finger, but obviously we don't want to end up with like an hour-long video. All tips, don't they look pretty? So now we need to take them down, so obviously I can still do everyday things. Now I tend to file my shaping first, and I'll do this on all the nails before I actually start blending the tip into my nail, just because I'm so picky with my shapes, so I like to spend a little bit of extra time making sure I've got a really good shape and it's all even. happy with all the shapes that I've got on my tips, then we go in to do the blending. And you don't want to use anything sort of coarser than a 180 grit really, because just in case you end up touching the natural nail as well. And just try and blend the connection where the tip joins the natural nail so it's as smooth as possible, so we don't get a ridge when we come to put our acrylic on. Also, if you can, use your other fingers to try and help pull down the skin at the side of your fingers, just so you don't end up catching it with the nail file. But obviously, as you can see, I have some very khaki-handed ways of doing my filing, so I can't always hold my skin down. Once I'm happy with my blend, I always like to sanitize my fingers just to help clear the dust off and everything. And then we're going to go in with dehydrator, which I always tend to do 2 coats of the dehydrator. I find it helps stop lifting on my acrylics. And then we're going in with the acid-free primer. Both of these are from Glitterbels. And then obviously we need to wait for this to dry fully before we add any acrylic. Right, now we're going in with glass slippers, and what I always tend to do is put a very thin layer of the clear acrylic more over my nail bed than the actual tip, and I find this just protects my nail a little bit more, and also if I'm using coloured acrylics, which we are in this video, it just helps stop the colour from staining. So it's almost like a protective little barrier. So we're going to go through and do this on every single one of our fingers. Right, unfortunately I forgot to press record on my phone for this bit, so I'm going to re-show you the colour I used. And what I've just done is put a bead on, blended that in sort of close to the cuticle area without flooding it, and then we're shaping it into a slight point on the little finger. And then on the middle finger we're going to go for something a little bit different. Now this colour that I'm using at the moment is a cover colour, so you could apply this a little bit thicker so that you've already got your apex built in, and then you won't need to put a clear acrylic over the top. So I decided on the middle finger we're just going to keep the tip sort of see-through and have our cover colour covering sort of the majority of my natural nail. And then again on the thumb we're going to do the same as what we've got on the little finger. Right, as we're doing a Remembrance Day theme, I thought it'd be really cute to have some little red flowers in the clear nail. Again, you know, if you didn't want to do it as Remembrance Day, you could use other details. You could put glitter in there. You could use other coloured flowers if you still wanted to keep the flower effect. I just think it looks really, really pretty where you've got such a contrast in colour from the colour we've got on the nail bed in a clear tip. So as you can see, I'm just cutting, very fiddly job, but just cutting out some of the flowers. Right, just checking that our core powder is set, and then I'm just tidying up that slightly angled line I've got on that middle finger, because it's going to be clear. You know, we're not going to be able to hide it with anything, so we need to have it as tidy as possible. And then I'm going ahead and adding a little bit of clear acrylic, and we then use this almost like the glue to stick the flowers down. And as you can see, just picking the flowers up one at a time and just randomly placing them onto the nail. A couple that were not staying put, so what I did was just put a little bit more acrylic on, but I've made it a little bit runnier just so that I can spread it around easily, and it will just help keep those little petals where I want them. Right, I didn't do my cover colour that thick, so I did end up encapsulating the whole nail. But like I said, if you've got a good apex on your cover colour, then all you would need to do on this bit is encapsulate where the petals are. Right, now we're going in with our red. I love this red, it's beautiful. And And we're going to put this on our little finger and our thumb. Just want to bring it carefully down the sides. Don't want to do it too thick because obviously we are going to have to encapsulate it with clear afterwards. But just try and make sure that you get it down the sides and you've got a good even coverage over the nail. Don't worry too much if you do go over onto your cover colour. And we're also going to put this on our pointer finger as well. And as you can see, I'm using it quite wet, and what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that, again, we're getting it close to the cuticle without flooding it, and then just pulling the colour down the finger. I heard someone explain using coloured acrylics more like using a paint. So you just want to put enough on and then pull it down and keep it quite a thin sort of layer, because obviously we are going to add to it and encapsulate over the top of it. Right, now for the fun part. Decided to use two different types of glitters. So we've got another chunky, probably a medium size glitter, and it's got a couple of different colours in there. And then we're going to sort of fill in a bit more with a very fine glitter. Right then, on our last nail, we're going to do black. So again, don't have the acrylic too thick. Be very, very careful, because if you get this all over your finger, it will stain it a little bit. But like I said before, use it almost like a paint. Put it on, try and get it nice and neat by the cuticle, and then just pull it down the whole of the nail, because we want the whole nail to be this colour. And because I absolutely love my glitter, I couldn't resist. I thought we'd put a little bit of the fine red glitter in, just to give us a little bit of a shimmer on top of that black. Right, and now what I'm doing here is I'm just, where we've had the cover colour with the red tip, I'm just tidying up with a file to get rid of any of that red that's on the cover colour, and also make our lines a bit sharper before we encapsulate. And then again, now we just go through the process of putting our clear over all of our nails, apart from the middle one, which we've already done. finished with all the encapsulating, we're going to go into a filing routine. I've only kept the filing my thumb, otherwise this video again would be far too long. So going with a 150, and we're going down the side walls, and also just tidying up underneath and the shape of the nail if needed. And then we're going to go in with a 180 over the top, and this is just to tidy up around the cuticle area and the sides, take away any bulk and just sort of refine the look of the nail. Once you're happy, we then go in and buff all of our nails. I also like to give it a little wipe over with acetone just to smooth the surface out. And then you can see how they look before the added details. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye!